So the next stage, after they've come in cold, is they then become a prospect. Now, next stage, this is somebody who's not just a lead and they're completely cold. This is somebody who's like found out a little bit more about you. They've thought, oh, you've piqued my interest. And they're actually here a consideration. And what that means is they're considering all the options available to them at that time. So you might have done a little bit of research, you might have got value from one company and they've been really helpful, and then you're considering, okay, do I want to go with this company here? And this is where the client then becomes, or the prospect becomes, very solution aware. Start looking into all the different solutions that are available to them and who they want to use or what service or what product best for them at this point. So they're starting to not just go, I've got a problem, they're now aware, oh, there's a solution, you are the solution. But there's not just you, there's other solutions out there. So they define their problem and consider options to solve it. So their options to solve it might be all the different products and services you use, or it might be the different competitors are out there at this moment in time. And here again, at this point here, you are still, majority of the time, serving. You are helping that person decide whether your company, your option, your solution is the right one. And at this here, it's not just serve. If you notice, the last bit's sell. So for part of that journey, you will serve, but then you now start to put in some call to actions. You now start to put in the benefits of your service more so. What's specific about you? Well, how you can help them at this stage. And this is where the prospect here, so they're now considering all the options that they have on the table. If you've done the job really, really well, a lot of the time, the consideration section, if you've done the awareness really, really well and you've kept people from actually going and searching elsewhere, the consideration side will actually not be looking outside of your company. It'll be looking into your company and considering what it is you can offer them, rather than what are all these other competitors. Because I know if I've gone somewhere and I've bought something or going to buy something and I get a lot of service at the front end or a lot of help or a lot of information, when I consider, I don't then start going looking around everywhere. I don't think it's worth my time if I've been served right at the beginning. I'll just stick and then say, well, what can you offer me? So here at this consideration stage in the buyer's journey, you need to be thinking about, and you need to know this about your buyers, what solutions do they investigate? It might be competitors, it might be different. So if like for when we had the business that was actually Envirovent, people would then maybe investigate different types of fans and if ours was the best and all the other things that were available. So it was competitors, but it might be on the pricing structure there as well. How do they educate themselves on the solutions? So if they're educating themselves and you know your client goes on to things like YouTube to watch videos on it, all the things, do you not think you should be there? Letting them see your products, letting them see why they should be choosing you. Do you not think you should be piggybacking on those videos? And how do they look at the pros and cons of all the solutions? So like for me, talking about Katie's there, the pros is I get, you know, my bills will be less, they'll be cheaper. My cons are, will it look nice in my property? The headache of the tenant sorting it out. Everybody does it. Whenever you're making a buy decision, you'll always very, very quickly go, well, that'll be great, but then there's this. There's always, you know what I mean? There's always the good and the bad with things. So you need to start thinking, well, what would they be looking, where do they want to be, and what things are going to be holding them back? What's the cons as well? So like for me, it was very quickly, like I've said, I'm going to better utility bills, my property will be better, it'll get a better rating on its EPC. That's great. Won't be it'll be better for my tenant as well. If they move out, it's going to be better for somebody else moving in. And then I very quickly went, what's it going to look like? What damage is going to be made? Is it going to, I'm going to have lots of things on my walls, or is it going to be all hidden? So there'll be different things that people go through in their mind. So it's a case of then knowing what those are, because then you can serve that person before in that consideration stage.